Greetings! In this video, we introduce the Jam S3 wearable monitor, its features, and an Android app that comes with the device. On the side, there's a battery container. By pulling the handle back, you can remove the battery from the device. At the top of the device battery container, there are power and alarm buttons. The device will be turned on by pressing and holding the green button, and by repeating this operation, it'll display a shutdown message which will turn the device off by touching the Yes option on the screen. Pressing silence alarm button will turn the device alarms off for 120 seconds. At the bottom of the device, there is a Type-C charger input. A charging cable with an adapter is included in the box. This device can get charged with any 5-volt charger. Since this device is completely isolated, it can be used even while it's charging, and it won't affect any performance. A red LED next to the charger input lights up when the device is charging. At the top of the device, there are 3 connectors, and each connector has a different slot, which makes each connector only able to connect to its own input. The NA connector is for developers, and typically you won't need to use this connector. ECG connector allows you to connect a 3-wire or 6-wire ECG cable to the device. On the front of the device and in this section, there are alarm LEDs in red, yellow, and blue. Red LED indicates high-level messages with life-threatening consequences. Yellow LED indicates second-level messages with less priority. And blue LED indicate third-level and systematic messages. If there are several messages at the same time, the highest priority message will be chosen to display. There will be an alarm sound for each message level. Messages from patients and the system will be displayed on this section of the screen, and the color of these messages will be as the same as alarm LED. In this section, there is a heart rate parameter. If the amount of HR is calculated by ECG, the color of this parameter will be yellow. Otherwise, it will calculate it by SpO2, and the color of this amount will be pink. By clicking on HR amount, you can set ECG settings. We will explain this menu in the following. This part of the screen displays devices signals. ECG signal displays in this section, and the name of the lead that is being using displays here. The device will display a filter status in this section, which can be in 3 modes: extended, normal, and monitor. We will explain these modes in the following. There's a pace detection mode in this section, which can be turned on or off. In case of activating this mode and connecting a pacemaker to a patient, a vertical line will appear on ECG signal when a pace happens. By touching this point of the signal, the device will freeze the signal, and for unfreezing it, it needs to be retouched. Over here, there's an indicator for measuring signals. By touching it, it can adjust its amount manually. This indicator will turn red when it's on auto mode and white when it's on manual mode. The plethysmograph signal displays here, which detects changes in blood volume based on pulses generated in the artery and measures the amount of SpO2. Respiration parameter displays in this section, and by touching this parameter, you can manually adjust its settings. And in this section, respiration signal is observable. This parameter is measured by the impedance method through ECG signal. At the top of this signal and in this section, you will observe the leads that are used to measure the respiration parameter. If any of ECG leads are not connected properly, a non-connection message will be displayed in the technical alarm section. At the top of the screen, there are bed numbers, date and time, Wi-Fi icon, system messages, and battery icon. If the device is set on monitor mode, Wi-Fi indicator will turn off, and when it's on smartphone or central mode, it'll turn on and start connecting with the central or smartphone. When there is no connection, the color of this icon will be white, and after connecting, it'll change to stable green. In message area section, operation messages are displayed. For example, when a signal is frozen, message frozen will display here. If you turn parameters alarm off, a red icon will light up next to that parameter. And if the alarm is on, you will observe the adjusted limits in that section. Battery indicator will display a charging icon when the device is connected to a charger. If the device's battery drops below 25%, you will observe a low battery message in the technical alarm section. Touching this key will return you to previous menu. Touching this key will enter you to primary menu of the device. And by touching this key, you can switch between other pages of the device. For more information about these sections, you can refer to user manual. By touching HR parameter, you will enter to ECG menu. On this page, you can manually adjust ECG settings. ECG lead section will display the leads depending on whether ECG cable is 3-wire or 6-wire, which you can select it in lead type section. All menus will be active only if ECG cable will be connected. Otherwise, all options are gray and you won't be able to change them. In HR source section, you can determine a source for measuring heart rate, which includes ECG and SpO2 modes. In auto mode, the device automatically checks both inputs and sets it to connected port. If both ports are connected, priority is given to ECG. In HR alarm section, you can adjust alarm settings, which includes activating and deactivating alarms, alarm levels, and alarm limits. In this section, you can choose the filter value between 3 options: monitor, normal, and extended. Extended amounts are between 0.05 to 100 Hz, normal between 0.5 to 40 Hz, and monitor is between 0.5 to 24 Hz. Try to set this value on monitor or normal mode for better signal quality. And to detect ST, this mode must be on extended. In this section, you can choose speed of signal movement on the screen between 2 modes, 12.5 mm per second or 25 mm per second. This speed change will apply to both ECG and SpO2 signals. You can enter to this menu by touching respiration parameter. In this section, you can select the leads to measure respiration. In 3-wire mode, it is not possible to change this option manually, and the device will set it automatically according to selected lead in ECG settings. In this section, you can specify settings of respiration alarms, activating or deactivating, alarm levels, and alarm limits. In this section, it can be specified that in case of apnea, the device will display a level 1 alarm after a few seconds. In case of turning this option off, if apnea occurs, the device will not display any alarm. By touching SpO2 parameter, you can enter to settings of this parameter. Settings of this page are set by default and rarely will be needed to change, but medical team can adjust these values according to their needs. For more information about this section, you can refer to the user manual. you will enter to Settings menu section by touching this key. In this menu and first option, you can change the device mode. In monitor mode, the device will active on its own and no other additional device will be connected. In central mode, the device will be connected to a central. And in smartphone mode, the device will be connected to a smartphone using a Wi-Fi and an Android app. If 6-wire ECG cable is connected to the device and the device is set on central or smartphone mode, the Android app and the central can display 12 leads by using Glasgow algorithm. Follow the user manual for more details about this algorithm. This device needs an access point to connect to a smartphone or central. In Factory Settings section, you should set a name and a password of an access point as same as your additional device for connection. Bit numbers for each device must be unit. Demo section is used to enable or disable demo mode of the device. In Alarm section, sound and LED of the device can be activated or deactivated. In Alarm Review section, there's a list of alarms that occurred along with their time and date. For entering some important menus, it needs a password that sets 40 by default. In Display section and in this area, you can specify how long the screen display stays on. In Lock Time Out, you can specify when the screen display locks. For unlocking the screen, you need to press the power button. In this section, screen's brightness can be adjusted. With this option, you can turn the screen off or lock the screen, and by pressing the power button, it'll be unlocked again. In Patient section, you can specify the patient's gender, age category, and blood type. Selecting Patient's Discharge option will erase all patient's data. In Setup menu, date and time of the device can be set. Selecting Factory Reset option will erase all device information including patient information and device settings. About option contains information about the device, manufacturer, and contact information for support. Param Trend option will display parameters information. Technical features of the monitor. It shows ECG up to 8 leads on the device and up to 12 leads on a central or smartphone. The device can detect pace. It supports defibrillator protection. In case of occurring an electric shock, performance will not be affected. Ability to measure and display respiration and temperature. Screen of the device is 3.5 inches. The screen can go to sleep mode to conserve battery. You can set screen rotation mode according to your needs. It includes 2 rechargeable batteries with 2500 mAh capacity, and it will be charged up for 20 hours. It has audio and video alarms. Ability to save trends and alarms. Ability to connect wirelessly to a central or a smartphone. A Type-C charger is included in the box. The device can be used while it's charging. Thank you for your attention.